Published, 2037 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 6th of October 2018, updated, 2051 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 6th of October 2018. When will people grasp the difference between what the Tory Party says it is, and what it actually is? It is not as if it tries hard to hide it. Here is a clue. It is not conservative at all. It is a machine for obtaining power. It would cheerfully guillotine the Queen in Trafalgar Square if it thought that by doing so it could keep or gain office. That is why it has spent the past 20 years becoming more Blairite than New Labour. Theresa May, who can seldom stop herself mentioning that she is a parson's daughter, chose her party's conference to declare that she now backs civil partnerships for heterosexuals. It hopes to pay attention. Last week's single most far-reaching act by the May government was to strike the final death blow at the institution of marriage. You would have thought a self-styled conservative party would like marriage. It is all about private life, the keeping of promises, and saving what we can of the Christian religion in a society that prefers to worship at shopping malls and football stadiums. Theresa May, who can seldom stop herself mentioning that she is a parson's daughter, chose her party's conference to declare that she now backs civil partnerships for heterosexuals. Unlike her grotesque attempts at dancing, this attracted little attention. It is a pity. After a period of consultation, in which conservative voices will be sneeringly ignored, this change will happen. And Britain will have roughly the same attitude towards family life as the old Soviet Union did, a temporary contract in a world where everyone's real parent is the almighty state. Civil partnerships are state licenses for cohabitation. They are deliberately stripped of any remaining religious content. That is why radicals have been campaigning for them for so long. There is no room in them for the sexist distinction between husband and wife. And they will be easier to get out of than a car leasing agreement. But they will give those who enter them the same legal rights, in terms of pensions, inheritance and next-of-kin privileges, as those who make the much deeper commitment of lifelong marriage, still just about available at a church near you. Civil partnerships are state licenses for cohabitation. They are deliberately stripped of any remaining religious content from now on. The only people who live together, but will not be able to get these protections, will be brothers and sisters, who continue to be driven from their former homes by inheritance tax when one of them dies. So why bother with the tougher option? Just as bad money drives out good, these feeble half-commitments will supplant marriage for most. The change, designed for the convenience of adults who don't want to be too bound by a deep pledge, will leave almost no barrier between children and the mighty forces of the government on one hand and greedy commerce on the other. It is the fulfillment of a prophecy made by the contraceptive fanatic and ultra-liberal moral reformer Helen Brooke, who proclaimed in 1980, "From birth till death it is now the privilege of the parental state to take major decisions, objective, unemotional. The state weighs up what is best for the child." If the Tory Party believed in anything, it would never have accepted this revolutionary change, or many of the other ghastly, left-wing things it does to try to keep its ratings up. But it believes in nothing. And that is why it could so very easily lose the next election to a Labour Party which does believe in something. Do calm down, dear. Our spies are no angels speaking as a Kremlin stooge. This silly phrase is applied to everyone who doesn't join in the current wild anti-Russian panic. Can I make some points about the frenzy surrounding Russian agents caught in the act in The Hague? No doubt Russian intelligence sometimes does wicked things, and also makes a fool of itself. But shouldn't we be examining our own spy and security services before squeaking piously about others? A secret letter from former Prime Minister David Cameron was made public recently. It effectively gave MI5 agents a license to kill, campaigners claim in Thursday. An astonishing letter written by the former Premier David Cameron was disclosed. It says, in the discharge of their function to protect national security, the security service, that's MI5, has a long-standing policy for their agent handlers to agree to agents participating in crime, in circumstances where it is considered such involvement is necessary and proportionate in providing or maintaining access to intelligence that would allow the disruption of more serious crimes or threats to national security. In other words, they are licensed to commit very serious crime. British undercover police officers have also fathered children with women they were spying on, and then vanished, which seems pretty cruel and ruthless to me. British undercover police officers have also fathered children with women they were spying on, and then vanished, and the Free West in general has not always been wholly competent. The CIA's absurd attempts to kill Fidel Castro, including exploding cigars, come to mind. So does the more tragic episode of the Rainbow Warrior, the Greenpeace ship blown up by French spooks, in which an innocent man died. Remember the ridiculous fake rock, which MI6 installed in Moscow, a high-tech dead letter box designed to look like a lump of stone. Russian agents detected it and in 2006 released film of MI6 handlers passing secret messages through it, presumably intended for Russian spies in British pay. Russian TV showed a British diplomat walking past the rock with his eyes shifting wildly as he was secretly watched by FSB counterintelligence. Another British diplomat was filmed kicking the malfunctioning rock, and then picking it up. My advice in all such matters is, calm down, dear. Russia is in no position to attack us. Its economy is the size of Italy's and failing badly. Meanwhile, we pay no attention to the real threat from China, which has now extended its influence into South America, and into Eastern Europe, and which grows more powerful every day. A people's vote? That got us into this mess. How foolish can people be? Do they not understand the dangers they court? The Labour peer Andrew Adonis is stumping the country demanding a second referendum on the EU. He and his friends, who include the thuggish commissar and warmonger Alastair Campbell, call this scheme a people's vote, as if the first referendum somehow did not involve people. The Labour peer Andrew Adonis is stumping the country demanding a second referendum on the EU. He and his friends call this scheme a people's vote. I hate referendums anyway. They don't fit in our carefully balanced constitution, which gives the final decision on all matters to Parliament. But how can that be so, if there is a rival source of power which also comes from the voters? This is the cause of the mess we are now in. But surely votes of all kinds must be final? If we keep rerunning them, then we undermine the principle of democracy, that a majority, however small, decides the question. And once that principle has gone, peace and order are in danger, as nobody ever again accepts an outcome he doesn't like. This is playing with fire and could end with political violence on the streets. A wise compromise between the two sides, I again urge the Norway option, is a far better way of resolving this foul-up. Sometimes I wonder just how many of the people who collect awards and honors really deserve them. I have seen a lot of people fail to get credit for hard work, courage and enterprise, while others carried off the gongs. Well, the clever new film, The Wife, examines this problem in a rather intelligent fashion, so that you will never view a Nobel Prize in the same way again. Glenn Close is superb, but perhaps the most amazing performance is by her daughter, Annie Stark, playing the same character Joan went young and reasonably innocent. Sorry, we are not currently accepting comments on this article.